Wow,
Yeah.
a potential speaker. And in case you didn't have a chance to read the meeting reminder that I sent out, I had a number of attachments. I saw some confused looks, and I apologize for that. I did not do a very good job explaining our new meeting format last time, so I brought a few copies. If we run out, if it gets around, I did email it to you as an attachment, so you do have that. But I will send this around. If you feel you need it, take a copy. I would appreciate that. And then I want to thank the people that signed up to be speaker chairs. We had a good response. And the fact that April, May, and June are empty makes me think it did make its way all around the room. So if you're willing to be a speaker chair for April, May, or June, please sign up. I appreciate the people that did put their names down. Rick McGuire is going to kick this off in September. Again, you only need to look for two speakers and a location, and that's explained on the meeting format that's coming around or in your email if you've already had an attachment, if you've already had a chance to read it. So you're looking for somebody to come on the first Thursday of the month, and we'll be meeting here. And you're looking for a location and a speaker for the second Thursday of the month. And I just talked to Rick, and he's going to model this for us, and we're going to work out all the kinks in September. So it's going to be easy peasy, which is a phrase I taught my 4-year-old granddaughter. So everything is easy peasy, whatever. If we could stand and recite the 4-way test, I'd really appreciate that. And do we have anybody joining us online, Deb?
Yes, we have Phil and Terry and John and Gary.
Okay, welcome all who are online. The 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you. We have a few guests today. Mike Artist and Deborah Fay are back with us, and they have filled out their membership application. So by the end of this month, we should be inducting 2 new members. Yeah, we're excited about that. Lisa is a guest. Hi, Lisa. I'm going to try the Mula. Is it last?
Rao. Mueller Rao.
Mueller Rao.
Mueller
Rao.
I'm the owl at the end.
Okay, Mueller Rao. I promised her I would remember this, but I'm not good with names. But Lisa is here, and thank you, Elizabeth, for bringing her. And we hope you come back. And we have 2 very special guests. Not that our other guests aren't special, but we're really excited to have Ariel. Did I pronounce that right? I've been calling her Ariel, like the mermaid, and it's Ariel Mondlak. And she is our new district governor. She'll be giving the program this morning. And we have Avery. Where's Avery? Oh, Avery Antonelli, who is our RILA student, who'll be speaking following Ariel. So I think at this point, I'm going to turn this over to you and just get out of your way. And if you need me to hand things out, I'm happy to do that. Oh, wait, I need an introduction. I apologize. Let me introduce Ariel properly, because when I looked up, she's had a really interesting life. So she is, yeah. Oh yes, I do. The last paragraph is I really enjoyed the last paragraph. So she's a native Vermonter who lives in Waterbury, Vermont, and has been a proud member of the Waterbury Rotary Club since 2019. She grew up in Brandon and began her Rotary journey as an Interact member, and she was involved in Interact throughout high school. She attended the University of Vermont. She graduated cum laude with a BA from the Honors College. After graduating in 2015, she crisscrossed the country a few times while working in the national parks and nonprofit organizations until Vermont called her back home. She settled in Waterbury, continued her work in nonprofit organizations, through which she quickly found her community with the Waterbury Rotary Club. Among many club responsibilities. She has taken on the mantle of president for 2023-24. She's a Paul Harris Fellow. And in recognition of her contributions to the Rotary Club in Waterbury and her other community work, she was named a Rising Star in 2022 for Vermont Business Magazine. So that's really cool. Outside of Rotary, I always find these to be the most fun. Ariel lives with her best friend, Stella, a lovable, sassy Shepherd Husky mix. She is an avid fantasy football player and currently works as a freelance editor, primarily in the fantasy sports and sports betting world. To relax, Ariel loves knitting. I want to read this because so many of us share some of these interests. Kel's not knitting today. Some people are. Sometimes people knit here. So she likes. Loves knitting, sewing, and a wide variety of other crafts, enjoys travel, and has been to 40 states, 15 countries, and 4 continents. And she's young. She's got plenty of time to see all the rest of them. Ariel, it's really great to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm really glad to be here. And I really appreciate you all having me here. As district governor, one of the privileges is you get to go around and meet all of the different clubs and come talk to them. And when tasked with this and thinking about, what I would say, I wanted to try and give us all a little challenge, make it a little bit more active. So with that came kind of the seed of an idea. And this really all started when I was out at the Rotary International Convention last June in Calgary. And I met one of my district governor counterparts from Mexico. My father is from Mexico and my dad is from Mexico City area, but this gentleman was from a little bit more north central and coincidentally where the monarch reserves are and where the monarch butterflies go to winter. So we were talking about that some. I had the privilege of going down to those monarch reserves when I was 7 years old, and it was an absolutely magical experience. And when you go there, you start the journey first going up on a Jeep up a really rustic road. Then you get to a point, no motor vehicles beyond that. And then you start walking on foot and you get to the top in this grove. And I have some pictures that we'll be passing around. But so first you look over at the trees and they look kind of orange and brown and it almost looks like they're dead just looking around at the grove. And that's because it is just laden with monarchs. Every single inch is covered in monarchs. And as the sun comes out, they start to fly around. And it's absolutely thunderous with just all of these tiny monarchs. And you can see as they come up. So every single one of the specks on those trees and up in the air is a little monarch butterfly. This picture was taken about 2000 when I was there. I do have a more recent photo that I like to compare it with because I think you can really see that there are fewer monarchs there. And we'll talk about that in a second. The other picture that I'll pass around with that is me as a child there, both me in that picture, and then with my grandpa. These monarchs, you can just put your arms out, they'll land on your arms, they'll land on your head everywhere. It's just full of them. But monarchs are threatened by 2 big sources these days. And I was chatting with some folks this morning and Sherry was even saying, I have 87 acres and I have found 1 monarch caterpillar in all of that. So 2 big threats to monarchs. One of them is down in Mexico where they winter in those fir trees. And habitat loss there. And that's kind of more of the element that my district governor counterpart was working from being down there locally. But up here, when monarchs are making their way north and then back south, it's loss of milkweed. So milkweed is an absolutely critical plant to the monarchs. It is the only food source for the monarch caterpillars, and it's where they'll crystallize into butterflies. As butterflies, they will feed on other sources for nectar and food, and other species will also benefit from milkweed. But it's incredibly critical for the caterpillars to have monarchs. So the monarchs start their journey down in Mexico, and over the course of about 4 or 5 generations, they migrate progressively north to make their way up to our District 7850. And then it is actually 1 monarch super generation that makes its way south in the fall back down to Mexico. So I'll pass that around. That has kind of the life cycle and the migration cycle on there. But it means that they really need that milkweed. And, we can't plant milkweed all the way from Mexico up here, but we can certainly plant it up here in our area. So when I was tasked with figuring out what I would do coming around as district governor and what I would talk about, I really wanted something that we could all take home. We are people of action. So some actions that we can take home and do and make a difference in the bigger world than ourselves. And that's where the idea of planting milkweed came. So I've been working with clubs. We've done plantings. We've done seed balls. I have seeds for everyone to take home and plant. And it's something that I really wanted to do here that could bring all of us together throughout our district and also help the much bigger ecosystem. Monarchs are critical in the food system. They're pollinators throughout it all. And, you know, we really can't lose them. So that's kind of where that came from. The other two kind of priorities or challenges, if you will, that I have for the year kind of go hand in hand with that. One of them is what I call the club hopping challenge. And that's kind of in line with that working together. So I am encouraging folks to go to at least one other club's event, activity, project, service, meeting, whatever that may be. Welcome other folks into yours, and same thing going out to district events. So I know some of you have been making your way to district events. And I also believe some of you have signed up for like the Essex Corn Booth. Is that correct?
Yes.
You all got that sign up sheet. So that counts as a club hopping challenge. You're all helping there. And I just wanted to kind of encourage folks to get to know each other and work together. If we can get a collaborative interact club going with the Shelburne Charlotte Heinsberg Club, that would also count. But it's really just that, you know, this is a much bigger world than ourselves, and we can do so much more by continuing to work together and getting to know each other. And that's, you know, kind of one of the beautiful parts of Rotary is that connection, both within our club, but also beyond that. So that's priority or challenge number 2. And then number 3 is the most simple of them. You've probably all heard of the Rotary Foundation, right? That is the big financial overarching engine through which we can do a lot of good, both in our community and in the whole world. So I'm encouraging every Rotarian every year, or E-Ray as they call it. And as a millennial who works for a nonprofit, I know that budgets can be very tight. So I am just encouraging that if all you can give is $26.50, that was the amount that started the Rotary Foundation. That is totally fine. It's, you know, 50 cents a week for the year. You could do it monthly, quarterly, whatever works. It's $3 to vaccinate a child against polio. So any little bit helps, and, you know, we can do a lot of good with just a small amount, but that money that we give to the Rotary Foundation also comes back to us. So I should have brought around, you did a district grant this year, did you not? No, this past year?
No, we did not.
No.
Okay. When was the last time you did a district grant?
We've only done one. And for like under $1,000.
Okay.
Yeah, we just couldn't really get that ball rolling.
Well, it's never too late to start thinking. We'll be announcing that kind of in September, October, probably more like October, just knowing when we have that meeting, but that'll be out. And, you know, we really encourage clubs to take advantage of that. If you have a project in mind, if you have something, and even if you don't, then, you know, it's still just a nice way to help support. So those are kind of my 3 priorities, challenges, what have you. You'll notice I don't succeed in them if you don't all help me. So
We want to help you.
yeah.
If you wouldn't mind talking about the merger, I know that we'll be getting more information soon. Some people had some initial.
Yeah.
Is this on? Yes, I think it is. Also, just as a quick follow-up, Susan Cote, and I don't have the name in front of me, but suggested somebody here in the community who was involved with a pollinator garden behind the central school as a possible contact for the butterflies. Sherry's got all this acreage, so, you know, we may think about that, but we can talk about that later. I don't want to take away from Ariel. And we do have at least 2 people who are going to worry about the foundation and making sure that it's front and center in our minds this year. They filled out one of these forms, and I think Howard is, where is Howard? He's hiding, right next to me. My peripheral vision is awful. Miss Ted and Miss Howard. But Howard's one of the people, it's here today, that'll be thinking about that and trying to keep that, and Charlie front and center. So yeah, if you could just talk about the merger a little bit. I'm not sure everybody's up to speed on that.
Yes, happy to talk about it. One thing that I will say is we are trying to not use the word merger.
Okay.
No, it's okay. And the reason why is because often that has, a more negative connotation. Someone's taking someone over, and that is fully not what's happening. It is a new district. We're creating it together, and it's a partnership. So the history of kind of how this came about, the Rotary districts were designed way back when for an average of somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500 members. Our district currently sits, this figure that I have in front of me says 1079. I think it was 1044 was the most recent number, but it sits more in the like 1,050 range. So we are about half the size that our district should be for Rotary International. There is a process for when you fall below 1,200 members, it triggers something that probably has an official name, but we all just call it the letter. So we got the letter a few years ago. Yeah, and it's not a letter that you want, but it also kind of really prompted us to think, and that gives some kind of checkpoints and timelines, and we've worked really hard on membership growth. And actually, we've stayed pretty pat for the number of years since we got that letter, which is a good sign. We are up against much bigger challenges. So you probably all know, living here in Vermont, we are losing people, and particularly like they're fleeing south. I had a funny moment when I was at the International Assembly training for district governors and, 500 of my counterparts, and I was chatting with someone in a membership session, and he said, yeah, we don't really have too much of a problem. We're getting a lot of new people moving into the area, and some of them are even Rotarians, and they're joining, and he lived in Florida. And I said, where are those people moving from? He said, oh yeah, Vermont and New Hampshire and New York and New Jersey. Like, so we are up against something much bigger than just Rotary. It's, national trends. And that being said, we do need to maintain a viable district that can support all of the clubs and Rotarians, because the district is really more than anything kind of an administrative function. It's to support the clubs and the Rotarians and to kind of be that liaison of things coming down from Rotary International, but it's really supporting all of you folks. So we got the letter, we have, intentional membership growth. We were working really hard on efforts, but at the same time, some folks from Rotary International came to the seven districts in the Northeast that participate in the Northeast Pels at Christmasvana and March, and then an eighth kind of donated around. They call us the New England Eight. And they basically said, you are 8 districts, and at the end of this process, you should be 4 or 5. Which is a really big ask. And there were 2 districts in that group that got the letter, us, and then one kind of Metro West Boston area. So geographically, not a question of merging with them or joining with them, excuse me. So that was out of the question. And we really started conversations with our fellow Northern New England districts, the ones that are our geographic borders. And as we continued in those discussions, ended up partnering with District 7780. So our geography is kind of the northern 2/3 of Vermont and New Hampshire and a little bit into Quebec. Their district is just east of that. So it's kind of another chunk of New Hampshire going down to the seacoast and into Maine. Kind of southern Maine, doesn't go up too far. And they, I'll pass around this info that kind of shares that demographic comparison. They are 1,278 members per that. Then they have shifted a little bit, but together, it puts us in that like 2,300 members. It's a really comfortable threshold. Well, we had a third district that we were starting those conversations with. Their membership is in like the 1,600 range. That's the one south of us. They ultimately decided like, we're not in this position that we need to do something now. But we're going to continue all those partnerships with them. So Avery, you probably met some of those folks at RILA, because we do partner with them on RILA and youth exchange and things like that. And we really wanted to make it a priority that partnership and friendship continues forward. But basically, when Rotary International approached us with this, they said, you can be proactive and create a solution that you will like, and we'll pretty much just approve that, or you can wait and we will create a solution that you won't like. So we really, really wanted to be proactive, but we're happy with where it landed. I feel really confident with that district. We had a retreat this past weekend with the district governor tracks from both districts, and part of that was just kind of starting the process to, I don't even want to say align our vision. We have pretty similar visions. That being said, we did get bogged down in like an alphabet word soup on the visions of like 20 different words that we're like prioritizing. But we really had similar kind of values and goals for where to take Rotary. We also have complementary strengths. So while we have a strong and well-established youth program, and they have some great youth programs too, it's something that we're going to really work and build together. They have a really strong international service program that we are excited to partner with and learn from. We also just spent a lot of time kind of figuring out what are our next steps. How are we going to get all of you involved? We're going to have coming out soon some calls for, we're calling them action groups, not committees, because we want them to be active and robust. And it's going to be kind of looking at comparing the two different districts' functions within a certain area. So maybe like foundation or public relations or any of those. How can we align them, and how can we also look to the future and grow them? So that will be coming out, I would say probably within the next month at the latest. We'll be kind of putting some of those dates and calls out for people who are interested. No commitment, just, anyone who's interested, come in.
Will the numbers stay the same? Will be 75, 80?
We will get a new district number. We have put in, I think we've put in the official request to be 7880 to kind of combine our numbers together. We have not gotten official approval. I don't think we get approval on that until October for whatever reason. So as soon as we have that, we'll be announcing it. We may also try and come up with a name instead. So there's a district in central New York that went through this process. Actually, 3 districts that went into one. They don't go by their number. No one knows it. I'm sure some people do, but no one knows it. They just call themselves Central New York. So there's talk of like, do we need a number? Or can we just have a nice name? Something like that. But, we're working on it together. The whole point of that is kind of as we come forward together, it's always, how can we blend?
I think we can take a couple more questions because we still need to hear from Avery. Are there any more questions for Ariel? She is going to be hanging around for a little bit after the meeting. I know we have to leave here because of the camp, but if we can catch her outside if we need to. Well, thank you I'm sorry, Armand. Let me
yes.
hand you the microphone.
My question is there a detrimental effect of milkweed? Can we overdo it?
Ours expanded tremendously over the past year.
Yes. So milkweed has the name weed in it. It is not technically a weed. It is a native wildflower. It is not invasive, but it is prolific. And it can sometimes take over a place. I don't want to encourage monoculture like that. Plant it in patches where it can thrive and support butterflies. It does kind of need a critical mass of milkweed in one spot in order for it to, get the butterflies and be beneficial to them. But, we can't just have milkweed. We need other pollinators and we need other plants in general. So yeah, I am, some places are planting like different types of pollinators in one. I just, due to limitations of 37 clubs, it's one thing that I can bring, but yeah.
In that same line, like how big of a plot?
You've got all kinds of specifications, don't you?
Yeah, there are some
I
guides
think
and
they're on
actually
those seeds, right?
yes, I forgot. We'll pass around those seeds while we're kind of transitioning. So I have a few things to pass around. I have seed packets, so everybody takes them. I have pins with this year's theme to create lasting
Just pass
impact. And then
Pieces of
sticky notes
paper.
as well. Yep, so just pass the box, take stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be a terribly large area. It does need a critical mass. I would say if you're kind of thinking about like maybe take half of one of these tables and that should be a good patch.
There is a funny story. She brought these to the district meeting and was stopped by the border patrol, right? You can't trans-
When I was stopped,
Oh, okay.
but others did get stopped at scenes and then that was not really back. So
So don't make sure that if you're bringing them home, you take them out of your car before you go to Canada.
Okay, they are native to Vermont. So.
They are native to Vermont. Here you go. Thank you, Ariel.
Yeah,
No, we'll do that later.
oh, okay.
Hi. So next up, we have our student that we sent to the Rotary Youth Leadership Academy this year. So we have Avery Antonioli. She's from Williston and she's a rising junior at CVU. She plays soccer year round, so she's probably really good at it. And she plays ultimate frisbee and she's in the women's STEM club at CVU. And Ryla inspired her to want to start an Interact club. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of her. But for now, I will hand it over to Avery. And she's going to tell us about her experience at Ryla.
We can stand right anywhere you feel comfortable.
What should I start with? Like, just what my experience.
Yeah.
Oh, she brought props too.
Oh,
yeah.
Why don't you get your props? Okay, so I'm gonna ask Avery to kind of highlight a couple of her experiences and sort of she came out of this very motivated, obviously. And I think when we hear from her, we'll realize she's a very motivated young lady, and with a lot of energy, and really was the one that approached us about a possible Interact program at the high school level, which we're going to start to explore. So yeah, just a couple of, just take 5-10 minutes and talk about your experience. I'm sure this group will have questions, so you might be able to fill in with additional detail.
Thank you. Starting off, one of the big things from my experience at Ryla was our, hold on, what did they call it? Was the community activity. And that was probably my biggest takeaway from the event. It made me feel so good that I started an Interact Club and had these events at my own school. What we did is we packaged up mac and cheese, and we packaged, I think, over 11,000 lunches. And we did it in record time. I think it only took an hour and a half. And everybody came together so well because all the people there had the same goal, was to help out people. And so I really want to bring that into our own community. And I think if I add an Interact Club at CVU, I can do that. Plus, we learned about Interact. All these friends I made were like, oh yeah, I've interacted in my school. That's how I learned about Ryla. That's how I came here. I was like, it sounds pretty cool. Then we had a guest speaker come in, and she showed us what their Interact Club did. I believe she was from New Hampshire. And they went to other countries and they built schools and kitchens and all these things for students in need. And that really sparked my interest. And then there was some fun stuff that we did, like testing out what type of leader we were. And it showed that there's different ways to lead. And I'm really going to apply that now at my school. Also, the friends I made along the way were super, super sweet people. Still in contact with them. It's been over a month now. And I'm still keeping up a conversation with one of my friends who I plan on hopefully doing something with Interact with. But she's from Virgins, combining schools, all that, a little difficult, but we'll make it work. I'm trying to think, what else?
Why don't we see if there's some questions that may prompt some other ideas? So I can move the microphone around for you. Are there any questions for Avery about her experience, or yeah, Lisa, I'll hand this to you. Sorry, we only have one, so.
Yes, I'm too familiar with the events that you went to. So, but how many people were there roughly? Where all did they come from, and how long were you together?
Okay, starting off with where did they come from? We had Vermont, New Hampshire, and Canada, actually. I think it was Montreal, Quebec.
Somewhere in Sherbrooke or something.
Yeah, because there's some native French speakers. And we were together all the time. We woke up at crack of dawn, early in the morning. We all ate breakfast, lunch, dinner together, and we spent the whole day, even until 1 a.m. together. That was definitely a highlight, playing in the gym and playing some card games.
And where was it held this year?
It was held at Linden State College. So not too far from here, which was nice. But we had assigned groups, like my group was blue. I have my wristband on here. It says service above self. And you're put in these groups of about 10 people with one junior counselor. And then we had 3 senior counselors kind of running the whole thing, and then 2 super seniors one was from Connecticut, and then one was from around here. But they're planning on possibly adding Connecticut into our group next year and incorporating them into Ryla, not like the not this district, but
And we have some guests, and they may not know what Ryla stands for. Can you tell us?
Yes. It stands for Rotary Youth Leadership Awards. And so this was like all of the best leaders from each community, yeah, who were chosen by their groups, such as this one. Yes.
Do I need to like,
Well, yeah, because of people online cheering. Here, I'll hand it to you.
you're doing a lot of steps.
Never mind.
What type of leader are you? And did you make friends with people that are very different style leaders than you? And how do you see working together with people that have different personalities like that?
Great question.
Yeah.
Need a minute to think about that?
No.
Okay.
Here, here, I'll let you pass around my, that was our schedule and everything. So I was a gold, or no, I was not a gold, definitely not a gold. I was a green, blue, and orange leader. So I was an adventure, a thinker, and I don't remember. It was like inventor, thinker, and yeah, and was because there was builder, which I was not, and then but I was 3 different types of leaders. And we did this activity that really brought together that idea of working with other leaders. You had to draw with different leaders. So what I did is I raised my hand because they were like, okay, we need a volunteer from each leader type. So orange, gold, green, blue. So I raised my hand. I went up. And then I went up with another green, a gold, and an orange. And we came together and we created a piece of what we thought the auditorium looked like. And so that showed how our different styles worked. And then we went around and there was an only orange group, an only gold group, an only green group, and an only blue group. So it showed how each group functions. And I thought that was really cool. And it was honestly pretty easy working with these other leaders. You just had to share your ideas and kind of think about what you were doing first, or at least that's what my type of leader was like. And then there was one of them who was just go. They just went off and we were like, okay, you do that, you do that, you do that, you do that. And we just made a piece and we all shared out. And it was really cool because then there was groups that were singular types and it was just so different from what the other groups were doing. Like there was one where it was just blobs. That was like the orange group. They just all, went for it. And then there was the thinkers. So that was the adventure group. There was the thinkers who had it neatly planned out perfectly. And then there was my group. There was some blobs, there was some neat, there was lines, everywhere and scribbles. Just kind of came all together.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, Armand? We'll take another question after this.
Barbara has had one, right?
Oh, I apologize, Barbara. After.
It's a small world because come to find out that Avery's father used to date my daughter. And David, her father, he lived and breathed soccer. And apparently the apple didn't fall too far from the tree. And my daughter has a son, Drew, who lives and breathes soccer. So how does that all happen? It's a pleasure to meet you. Avery.
Thank you for that comment. We'll offer this to you, Barbara, and then we'll wrap up.
Avery, I appreciate your enthusiasm, etc. I hope you're going to go back to CBU. For years, I was in charge of recruiting students for RILA, and the numbers who have come forth has dropped off. How can we make students as enthusiastic as you and get them to apply?
How did you happen to learn about it?
I'll wait till the microphone.
Speak with the microphone. Okay. Sorry about this. It's a little awkward.
There was an email sent out by one of the administrators at CBU, and I just happened to click on it. It said, here's a good opportunity for sophomores. And I clicked on the link and I saw it and I read all the details about it and then I applied and it was a great experience and I would recommend it for anybody who's going into their junior year. And I think what I'm going to do is I'll probably have an announcement on the speakers and I'll definitely make Interact, if we have it this year at CBU, a big thing. So then all of these students know to apply. And I have a lot of friends that are also sophomores this year going into their junior. So I'll definitely convince them to do it.
Great. Thank you. Before you sit down, we have something you need to pick the winning number for the raffle. So if you would do that for me. And then read the last three numbers, I believe. Here you go.
5, 3, 8.
Your numbers, everybody. Oh, yeah, we had some other props.
Oh yeah.
Five, does anybody have 538?
It's probably Kel, but they can't find their ticker.
Okay, so then one more question.
535.
What's your talent?
Oh, yeah, what was your talent?
I did a dance with 2 girls I met. Oh yeah, I went there and didn't know a single person, and then I came away with a lot of friends. But I met these 2 girls from New Hampshire, and we did a dance together. Have you guys ever watched the movie Mean Girls?
Yes.
Yes. We did Jingle Bell Rock PG version. We came up with a new dance to it, and then we had this mini speaker that we kicked off the stage, and then we made everybody sing Jingle Bell Rock.
Awesome. Thank you
Well,
for
thank
sharing.
you so much, Avery. Thank you very much. I know we have some announcements, at least one. Oh, thank you very much. Did we find?
Yes.
We did. So Cal did win.
Yeah.
Yay. Just needed a moment to kind of get things organized. Lisa had an announcement that she would like to make, and if anyone else has an announcement, please raise your hand. We'll get the mic to you.
Just a reminder that the shirt and other Rotary gear orders will be going in tomorrow. If you responded to me from the Club Runner email that went out, it likely didn't get to me. It turns out I must have mistyped my email address in Club Runner, so it didn't make it all the way to me. So let me know if you tried to order something and I haven't talked to you yet.
Any other announcements? Or will I turn this over to Nick? Why am I having trouble locating you today? Because you're good. Okay, you should sit right over here. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna move into the happy, get your money out, and the happy five. Nick.